Welcome to Siyaphanda, where the Bay youth make it work. And I'm your host, Dimpo Pulani. And if you are an entrepreneur, this show is for you. Or if you're looking into adventuring into entrepreneurship, this show is definitely for you. And today I am joined by the phenomenal Tabo Jona. Please do like, share, and comment. Would like to hear from you. Welcome to the show, Tabo. Kindly tell us about Blackman Studios.
Hi, siswami ndiyavuya ngonamkela apha.
Yes.
Igama nguThabo.
Yes.
Tabo Mavis Jona. Blackmanseason nje is just like a brand, basically. That just like deals with photography, offers photography services, videography services. Still a niche for now. We're just mainly focusing on those things, those two things, which is photography, taking photos, and then videography, mostly highlight reels, basically. So we are more into that digital space. Yeah.
Before siqale,
Yeah.
let's take it back. Ungowaphi ukhulelephi?
Mna ndingowasengcobo.
Okay.
Phesheya kwenciba. Kulapho ke ndizalule khona. Kwisibhedlele kuthiwa All Saints. Ilali zam sicwecwini, which is Sengcobo, in between Idutywa neNgcobo. Ngokukhula ke kuba ke abazali ke bebezama le mpilo. Umama wami ke wafumana umsebenzi eDutywa. Kulapho ke ndinakhulela khona. I grew up there, did my primary there, did my high school there, kwisikolo kuthiwa kuseColosa. Ilali nje kufitshane naseDutywa. So I did that, and then that's basically that when it comes to khula kwam. So iDutywa is the one that really groomed me to become uThabo and become a Blackmanseason even this day. So yeah.
Born and bred in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
Okay. Kindly take us through, when did you start Blackmanseason? Umqale nini and when, where?
Okay. Into ka Blackmanseason, I would say iyona ifika at a later stage, because into is skill just is a thing that just develops. So taking photos, it's something that's developed from different phases, So phase yokuqala kukuboniswa, and ndikhule ndiboniswa. Qala kwami uboniswa ndaboniswa nge-wrestling, Randy Orton, so ndikhule nje ndiboniswa, and then iqhubeke ndiyokuboniswa, to Cool Cats. We are the Cool Cats. That's when, I started to fall in love with music. I was like, oh, we are the Cool Cats.
Yeah.
I'm Kitty Cat. I was like, oh, I like this rhythm, which then transitioned into hip hop. And then I started knowing about hip hop, and then I started to know about poetry.
Okay.
Started doing poetry, which then transitioned into rapping. And then from rapping, it then and then started to dress cool, suddenly skinny jeans, color blocking, and then it got into like, oh, we're taking photos for Facebook, so this is a then that's where you get to know about the digital space, like, oh, you need to have good photos to look good, and then at a later stage, which is during my gap year, 2014, I met this crowd man. I was like, yo, bros, ukhona umuntu ofuna abantu abazo-actor. I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's fine, we can do that. And then we met this guy the next day, and he introduces himself. He's like, my name is Sakajele, and I'm an editor at Mnet, multi-choice. I edit for Generations. We're like, oh my God, this is about Generations.
Yay.
Let's go. And then I was like, okay, cool, go write a synopsis about a short film. You're going to write that film down. You're going to shoot that film. That's when 2014 we shot about 3 short films. We put those on YouTube. We had good reviews. That's when I got to know about the whole film space and everything like that. And then when I came to PE 2016, then I started to school at Russell. That's when I met this guy called Gqeberha, short guy, very dope photographer, well-known photographer in Port Elizabeth. And then I started to find out, like, what do you do, guy? You always have a camera with you. It was like, nah, I take portraits. So I was like, what are those? Because I'm only solely focused on film. I was like, nah, I take portraits. Then I started to follow him. And then after I kept on following him, he started to take photos of me because of my skin. I'm black. And then we just did this cool photo shoot, and then he just titled it Blackmanseason. And then from there, that's how Blackmanseason was born.
And you ran with the vision.
And then it ran with the vision.
I love that, Yazi, being a creative,
Yeah.
and then you grew and you developed the muscle.
Exactly.
That is profound.
Yeah.
And we know, Guti, there is no business that runs without a community.
Yes, definitely.
Basically, you are serving the community through your photography.
Yes.
And idibanisa nemali ke. Wenza njani when it comes to serving people, serving your community? At times, lack of finances.
Yeah. Well, at first, it was just like out of love.
Okay.
You know, I was like, okay, cool. So now that I kept on following with Gqeberha, and then then this guy from back as we did, CJ, who's my friend ever since, he's like, okay, bro, I have this small camera with me, and I've heard that you've shot some films. Can you use this camera? I was like, cool, I can use this camera. And then at school now, I have this girl that I really like. And I was like, hey, I have a camera. Can I keep on taking your photos? You know, so that was my way of like trying to cut with her. So I started to take photos of her with that. And then from there, it just started to like, okay, cool, now I have a camera, but this camera is not good enough. Then my sister realizes that, okay, cool, now this guy is really into this. Then we just Salasa, and then I bought my first camera 2018. Then I started to take really cool looking photos at that point, and I was like, oh, okay, people are like, oh, can you take me photos? How much should I pay? I was like, okay, so now I can get paid for this.
Making money.
You know, and then that's how it started, and then it just grew from there, you know, which is starting to charge per shoot, per photos, per shoot, per photos, but with love at the same time. Because sometimes I'll just do conceptual shoots, because I remember I did this concept called Rare Faces, where I'll just walk in town and meet people with rare faces. You know, if you look good or you have a different thing, if you're totally different from the ordinary person, I'll definitely take photos of you. So it just grew from there, from concept to concept, then transitioned into money. Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking now, Tabo, there's different seasons in business. Where you don't make capital at all, where things are literally dry.
Definitely.
But I want to know, Uguti, how do you keep your consistency? How do you keep to the vision, even at times when seasons are dry,
very
when
dry.
there's no capital generate time?
Yeah, I mean, it's Blackmanseason, so I mean, to be a black man first is quite it's quite a stiff one to be a black man in South Africa already, you know. But I've met a lot of people that would see me with the camera, and they'll be like, "Oh, Brian, you take photos of beautiful girls, so that means you have a lot of girls. So I need to get a camera to get girls, and then you get girls, and then you make money. So I need to get this camera to get girls and money. Okay. So that's not passion.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of them now, they are doing a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because they were like, okay, cool. I'm not getting the girls.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the money.
I'm not getting the money as well.
You know, because there's a lot of dry seasons.
Yeah.
So a passion is going to keep you through that. You know, where you like, you know, because I went home during COVID, went back home, and then at home I was like, I need to shoot here.
Yeah.
People already know Blackmanseason here. So I shot there. But it was just so stagnant. I was like, I need to go back to PE because on this side it's more drier than PE. It was right now, and they were like, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then 6 months down the line, they'll start to share those photos because they go back to them. And then they'll be like, okay, oh. So hence I say life in photographs, because the more you stay with the photo, the more it becomes, it gives more life to you. It gives back to me. So whenever I'm like in doubt moment, I just go back through my work, and then it just gives me back, like, I've went to this place, I've met this person, I've basically lived a life throughout these photos. Yeah.
And you are doing an extraordinary job. Like umsebenzi wakho is good quality. And of course, you will attract different people. We just want to talk now about collaborations.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you trade carefully on who you collaborate with? Ube ugcine isidima ska Blackmanseason.
I think the work on its own just speaks for itself, you know. So it just kind of like filters whoever is gonna, you know, transcribe, you know, into any conversation that we're gonna have, you know. So the work alone just like filters. And for me, I believe the niche, you know, portrait. I'm a portrait photographer. I'm influenced by a portrait photographer, you know, and I take time with each niche, you know. So the more I develop that niche, the more I surround myself with people that are in that space. So which then filters again what we collaborations, So, but for now, I'm collaborating with photographers basically. So photographer is one of the friendliest spaces. There's Uluntu Creative Hub that just got opened recently last year. So I'm also working with that team. So that's basically the collaborations that I'm with at the moment.
And where can people get hold of you? Mhlawumbe uyakukhangela ukhangela uBlackmanseason. Where can they get hold of you?
You can just Google Blackmanseason. Immediately you Google Blackmanseason, you'll find it. YouTube, SoundCloud, we have music there. We have Instagram, mostly we post on Instagram a lot, Facebook, and TikTok. Okay. Yeah, so Blackmanseason, Google it, everything is just going to show in there. Yeah.
Tabo Mavis, we thank you for joining us today and sharing your insight. Nkosi kakhulu. And thank you for joining us. That was Tabo Jona, taking us through his business as a photographer ku Blackmanseason. And please don't go anywhere. Be encouraged to like, share, and comment. And up next, we are interviewing an industry expert. Every day. Welcome to another episode of Siyaphanda, where the Bay Youth make it work. And today we are joined by an industry expert, DJ Sebz, a man that wears a hat of many colors. As you can hear the name DJ Sebz, he's a DJ, he's a festival founder, he's an entrepreneur. I can dingazibiza zibeninzi. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sebz, DJ Sebz.
For inviting me.
Yes. Let's start. The name DJ Sebz, Livelavi, how was it birthed?
Yeah, since I'm in the entertainment industry, so when I started with the hip hop, DJing and also being a contributor to Hype magazine, and then when I got the show at Gqeberha FM in 2004, I needed a name that will basically reflect that, radio broadcaster, but also a DJ. And in trying to find all these nicknames that I was given, only one nickname stood out, Lena Sebz, and it was given to me by Usesnozizwe. She used to look after me when I was a baby. So from Sebenzile, he used to call me Sebz. Hey, Sebz. And then I was like, no, let me jump with this one because it reflects me and who people in my area KwaZakhele know me to be. So ndayithatha njalo.
Ndethanda le nto uba ubiza uthi KwaZakhele because I presume that is where you grew up.
Yes.
Sinento yokuba xa ukhulele lokishini abanye abantu banelento uba asoze bakhule babe yinto because of surroundings and circumstances. But I want to know ukuba ukukhulele lokishini kuwe, what kept you ukuba ungalahlekani nale nto ufuna uba yiyo?
Yeah, you constantly have to keep your fire inside burning because zinintsi izinto ezinoyicima. One of them is bad friends, and I had a lot of those, and still love them today, but they know they're bad friends. Secondly, you parents, abazali soloko bekunqwanqwada, and that teaching and that constant prompting of bra yesikolweni, bra yenza lento, bra subuye ebusuku. You need to listen to those things. And then thirdly is finding spiritual mentors. Because as human beings, asiyo nyama only. We are also spirit. So for me, spiritual mentors meant to be my parents, meant to be the pastor in church, and also meant to be the guys who are part of the industry. My mentors in photography, they're highly spiritual, and then my mentor in literature, highly spiritual, uTata Mzimaholo. So ngabantu abo abandisurroundileyo until ndabaye le ndoda ndiyiyo.
Ndethanda le nto uba uyazazi ukuthi ungubani na and the importance of mentorship ngoba iyakunceda laa nto for uba ukhule and you can learn obviously good things from your mentors. Ndifuna sijonge because we know that you are a man that wears a coat of many colors. Ukuba how do you balance? You are a DJ, you are a broadcaster, you're in television, radio, you are a founder, a CEO. How do you keep balance ebomini bakho?
It's not easy. It's not easy, but because as someone who's literally grew up in the industry. My first ever job in the industry was to plug people, with opportunities. So plugging people with opportunities, later on, I had to formalize that. I started a casting agency. So by having that experience with different people, different spaces, having to be part of different documentaries, for me it was a matter of, okay, I've been doing this for a while. Where can I find the knowledge and where is my footing in what I'm doing? So I started a casting agency because of that. And then because I did journalism at Nelson Mandela University, the broadcasting part and me contributing to magazines and newspapers was also part of what I do. So having to contribute to Hype magazine, a national magazine, while I was still trying to find myself, that also assisted. Wrote a proposal while I was still in class for my show at Gqeberha FM. Then I got Primetime Saturday.
Okay.
So all that stuff was literally trial and error.
Yeah.
Learning on the go. Most of us as entrepreneurs, we tend to master the action and not learn writing, not learn proposal writing, not learn the admin part of things. So I can say now that I'm in my 40s, I'm experienced in most of the fields that I decided to jump on. Jumped in there with little knowledge, but now I have the knowledge. And then later on, some of the people that I worked with in 2010, I literally ran with them now in the organization. For instance, Rafika Davis, I met her when we were starting with learning filmmaking in 2010. But now she is my deputy in the Film Forum. So also keeping those relationships and not burning bridges, Some of my mentors are the guys who were at Shoot 97. We consult now. I just call them, Warda, Clayton, Bra, I need help in this manner. And we're able to speak. Tata Scott's, he's in Washington, D.C. I just hit him up on WhatsApp. Hey, Professor, what do you think of this? Can you assist with this? Bouncing ideas off each other. 20 years of relationship and we never lost touch. So I believe in each and every thing I'm doing now, it's basically what I've been building. And because I started with Bay FM, with Bay TV, now Mpuma Kappa TV, So I'm doing a different show now than when it started, but I'm still doing broadcasting.
You're still doing broadcasting. Yes, I love that you're mentioning Uguti, you collaborate with people and you keep relationships. And the pie, everyone can have a piece of the pizza or the pie.
Yes.
But you share. And this is strength also because not everyone has that, because people would want to keep the pie to themselves and eat alone. Now, let's talk about you as a brand. Because it's important that you're a brand, you're building that brand. Why is it important to look at the people that you collaborate with? Why is it important?
It's a very deep one, very sensitive one, because recently there was a case of someone that we worked with and he was involved in a sexual harassment case. And it was in court, So we had to be decisive in distancing ourselves from whatever accusations that person was facing. So firstly, it's important to know when to cut ties with people you trusted, and also to look at the reputation. I remember one of the things that was said about us as the Film Forum from political sphere and also the municipality fraternity. When they were checking the executive, they couldn't find us involved in any criminal activity or in any fund embezzlement, all those things that normally happens in the art sphere where people get to do shady things. So I was happy that we were able to come together and work as a forum, as people who have integrity. So for me, honesty is one of the policies that I abide about. It's not easy to do it, but at least if you know exactly where you're going, because today you might steal 1,000 rand, and then later on you steal 10 million rands.
Yeah.
You know, so if you are able to say no to small things, you are able to resist even bigger things.
I like that. Uthi noba ungaqala kancinci kuba uzophela
Yes.
usiba kakhulu. Now, since we are talking about capital, we're talking about money, right? Siyazi ukuthi it's not easy to break through in industry yet, especially the film industry. Now, how do you keep focus to the vision at times when you don't make capital? Because ayizi lula.
Okay, as an artist,
Yeah.
you know, you learn to know that if you're not behind the cam and making those small monies, you can basically focus on other skills that you have in order for you to at least have something to eat. So one of the main things that I do now is to consult, and also because I'm experienced in different fields, I'm able to be a speaker and get paid to speak. And also I'm able to consult with young artists and old artists and be able to get paid. And also we play a long game where we know that we have a proposal. Once we get it, at least this one's going to feed us for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, so in trying to balance things, you must also know that you, as an artist, you're going to have a dry season, and it happens for everyone. And being hungry as an artist, you must learn to starve yourself. It's not easy, but you must learn to starve yourself so that you can remain independent and be able to project yourself as that person. For instance, if you are used to government money, it's not possible for you to speak bad about government. Because you're thinking, snap, if I criticize arts and culture, I might not get the next cycle of funding. Whereas you know that there are things to be criticized, you know, in terms of how people administrate things. And you must always be cognizant of the fact that those people are working for people. So if you're not going to say, I know arts and culture are better today, you know, then you are a liar as an activist and an artist. You must always know that as a person, you understand how policies work.
Yeah. And as well, a person that is watching out there, umntu osakhulayo, that would like to adventure into the arts and culture sphere, what advice would you give them?
Snap. This is a creative economy. So it's not just arts and culture and sports, recreation. It's literally an economy. One of the things that are very important, just discovered 2 years back, is that there is a time where the GDP of the creative space was equal to the agriculture GDP, meaning that people consume food and they also consume what we do.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of money going around that is feeding both entities. So as a creative economy specialist or someone who works in the space, you must know you need to find a way yokuziphilisa ngale nto siyenzayo.
Kalendo siyenzayo. Xa sivala DJ Sebz, ndicela ukubuza, where can people get hold of you?
Okay, social media is DJ Sebz on all the platforms, meaning that you will find me on TikTok, you'll find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, and then the website is Flying Loudcast online,
Okay.
you know, .com. No, it's not .com, it's online. Yes, Flying Loudcast online. The website is basically for the casting agency and the photography, the film, location scout. That's where you can get us. Yeah.
Sabulela, thank you for your time and
Ndiyabulela
sharing your
kakhulu.
insight with us. That was DJ Sebz. Please be encouraged to like, share, and comment. The name of the show is called Siyaphanda. Also, please do follow us on our social media platforms. On YouTube, we are TMWTV. On TikTok, we are Siyaphanda. On Facebook, we are Siyaphanda, the Media Workshop. Remember, you don't need permission to build. You need purpose, discipline, and action.